about talking about manifestation and how to manifest. So, Carol, would you like to tell us a little bit of how you do it? Because we were having like different thoughts about how to do this podcast. And I think, Carol, your idea was the best. So go ahead.
Well, to me, and I've done a lot of research and listened to many, many people on manifesting, and I've been doing it since my 20s. But it boils down to, kind of the first thing is to make your vision. You either write it down or, you think about it and you try and keep it at a higher level. You make your vision and then you feel and imagine how you're going to feel when that happens. And you feel the emotions and the excitement, and you continue to do that as you manifest the stream. You don't think about how I'm going to get there, except for the fact that you take baby steps. You have to take steps towards your vision. Like if you want to win the lottery, you can't sit on the couch and never go buy a ticket. That's not going to work, right? So you envision it, you imagine how you're going to feel when it happens, and then you take baby steps. And then the other important one is you have faith and trust that it's going to happen. You don't know when, could happen really soon, it might take years. But if you have faith that it will happen and no negativity, you can't have doubts, just know it's going to happen. And then I think, Maria, you added into those steps. So what was your thoughts in that one?
Yeah, I was thinking that for me, something that also helps me to make it work, let's say, because I don't think about doing something that makes it work. I just do it. So what actually happens is that I start to realize all these links to what's happening already with that dream. So there are like little hints and signs that are manifesting already, even if it's not the whole picture. It's like little ticks and tricks and things that are already coming to life that I am just aware of them. I'm looking for those signs that it's already happening. Because the thing is, for me, the thing is that it's already real for me. It's not something that will come to life one day. It's something that is real for me. And I'm just looking for how is it coming to life. So it's just like smelling the smell of the bread that is being in the oven. And it's like, oh yeah, I smell it. Look at that. And then I see a truck full of bread. And then I don't know, I see somebody eating the bread. And then it happens that I am eating the bread myself. But before I get to eat the bread, I have all these like little signs like the bread is coming.
Right. And that's part of the envision how you're going to feel. You're already feeling that. And that is the very powerful part of manifesting, getting it to work. I have a lot of examples. I'll just throw out a couple right now. When I lived in Colorado, it was in the beginning of my career, and I used to travel down I-25 from Denver to my client, who was Colorado Springs College, and I would go by this exit every time. I went like once a week, and the exit was called Happy Canyon Road. And I looked at the exit and there were all these pine trees, and I'm coming in the middle of Denver and it's not like the mountains, but this looked like it was in the mountains. And I've always been a really happy person. So of course I love the name Happy Canyon Road. So I said to myself, I love that. I said, I'm going to live there someday. I really want to live there someday. And every time I drove down, I thought about that. And, you think about it. And then, a year and a half later, I moved away from Denver. Well, 10 years later, I moved back. And guess where I lived? I lived right off of Happy Canyon Road.
Oh my
In the middle of
God.
all those pine trees.
Oh my
So
God.
that was probably my first manifestation that really came to light. And then my second big one, or my first really big one, was when I was in Colorado the second time. And I was married and I wanted to get pregnant and I wanted to move to Dallas. And I was listening to, you probably know of Tony Robbins, one of his cassette programs. And he told me to write it all down, what my vision was of what I wanted. So I did. At that time, my husband and I had been trying to get pregnant for 2 years, and we were corporate professionals, and we were going in different directions. And when you only have once a month for it to work, it was hard. So we also had a lot of family in Dallas, and I wanted to move to Dallas. So I wanted to get pregnant. I wanted to move to Dallas where all my family was. And I wanted my husband to be able to get a job in Denver, and his job, or not Denver, excuse me, Dallas. We were currently in Denver. So I started doing IVF treatment. And at that point in time, IVF was so new, there was only about 15% chance of it working the first time. So I did my IVF treatment, and I had all this vision in my mind. And I took a pregnancy test on a Sunday morning when it was like 2 weeks or something, and it was negative. So of course I was disappointed, but I thought, no, it's going to happen. But my doctor had warned me. He said, if you take a pregnancy test, it may not show you the correct result. So I still had hope. This is on a Sunday morning. About Sunday afternoon, around 3 o'clock, my doctor called and told me I was in fact pregnant. And then about an hour later, Duncan, or my husband Duncan, had interviewed with Texas Instruments. An hour later, this guy that he interviewed with called and offered him a job the same day on a Sunday afternoon. Now, how many doctors and, job offers do you get on a late Sunday afternoon? So all of a sudden we were wham bam, we were pregnant, we were moving to Dallas. We got an all expense paid move to Dallas, and I was there to have my first child with my parents and my sister. My husband had two brothers. So that was a really powerful thing for me in my life, to recognize that this stuff works. I've been manifesting my whole life, and I swear the more you do it, I don't know, things just happen, just out of the blue. You think of something and it just turns up. So anyway, does somebody else want to?
Well, I think it becomes like a natural way of living. In a way, it becomes like not like something you do, but something that is happening all the time. Like it becomes life. So it's like feeling and seeing how it happens. It's like, and every time is more amazing because you're more surprised about how things manifest. But for me, it's become my way of living, just trusting that it's gonna happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So it's like you
True.
just go and do it.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like you don't
And
have to
another
do
thing
anything. It just happens.
I'm sorry. Another thing I was going to say that with manifesting, the other step is when things happen, you have to just jump for joy and be so excited and show the universe, how much you are so into this and that it's working, and that you love it, and have gratitude. Because then you will get more and more when you have gratitude for what you are given.
So we were living in an apartment, and we wanted to change the house. We've lived there for 6, 7 years now, and we wanted to have a change of scenery. So me and my daughter, we said, Dad, look for this type of a house. And he goes, no, we can't afford it. Are you crazy? No, 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 not in the next so many years. We can't afford that kind of a house. So we said, listen, leave that to us. Leave the manifestation to us. We really said that. You just look for such houses. He says, but Vijay, I can't afford it. I said, you decide your budget. How much is the budget? We will manifest a house within that budget. Whenever, we don't know when, but it's gonna happen. Okay, fine, he said. And he started looking, and we started looking within that budget, trying to look for the kind of houses we have. Oh my God, not even 1 year. We were shifted to a house of our choice, which was within that budget. And it's like, oh my God, look, it's like a knowing sometimes. Sometimes it's just a knowing. You don't have to worry about, like you said, the house. and how it's going to happen or whatever. You
Right.
just know, it's done. You've said it. If it's good for me and my family, it will happen. If it's not good for me, something better is waiting for me. So that kind of a belief,
That's
if you
right.
have, I mean, that's the way I operate because I don't know any techniques or I don't know any sure shot manifestation process or technique. But I guess there are many, and there's no one particular thing which can, I guess, apply to all because each one of us are built differently. And
Right.
I'm sure there are infinite methods and possibilities. So I guess whatever suits anybody, you can just use that technique. Two
Very
bits.
true. What the things that you think about, like Maria was saying as well, the things that just cross your mind. And Mike Dooley, his saying is thoughts become things, choose the good ones. And I believe that to the nth degree. If you're having negative thoughts, that's what you're going to manifest. That's manifesting. What you think about is what you're manifesting. So you have to have good thoughts and positive thoughts, and this is going to work, or whatever, this is going to happen. So I really think you don't have to have like okay, I'm going to manifest this. It's just your thoughts, and like you had those things happen, Palak, that you're just in the right place at the
It
right
just
time.
happens, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And because I guess we all are energy, right? At the end of the day, we all are energy, and so are thoughts. Sorry,
yeah.
Maria, you were saying
No, it's fine. I just think that we are all the time, everyone manifesting all the time what we think. I mean, it's not a technique. It's part of being human.
something.
It's like attracting with our energy field, whatever we feel really inside. So it's just choosing what you really want to
Mm.
have outside and inside. So for me, it happens all the time. It's like a reflection of the things that I'm feeling. The day I'm down, it happens, something happens, like I bang my foot with something or something happens, and it's like, yeah, I'm in that mood today. And then other times, like, this place I'm staying in, it was just like that. I was just in a place that I loved, watching a view, writing there. And I thought, wouldn't it be great to be here this summer writing? I was just here on a trip. And it was like, I felt the whole body reacting to that thought. It was like, like a kind of electric current going through my body. And it was like, ooh, it seems that it's gonna happen. Like, wow, it's really a belief that I have. It's really a reality because it's giving me energy. So I think that's the trick, when it's real, the whole body feels it and reacts. And it's like what you were saying, Palak, it's like, I think I'm going to live there or I'm going to do that because you suddenly feel like it's real for you. You know it's going to happen. And so after, I don't know if it was that afternoon or the day after, I'm not really sure about the timing now, but I met a friend and she was saying, we're having a few rooms free in some time. We still don't know when, but I would really love to have somebody like you in the house. And it was somebody like me or maybe even me, because I would love to. So I think the thing is to be open when you have those feelings, to be open and instead of being like this in life, is like I don't look at anything. It's like being open and saying, where is it? How is that going to happen to me? And then you just like things unfold and you're just in that flow with whatever. So I think it's just a property of being humans that we have forgotten. You don't actually change the earth you're in. You don't change the manifestation. You don't change the reality. You shift from one reality to another one in which that is actually happening. So it's not that you change the reality, you change yourself from one place to a quantum field in another situation where that is real. So you're not changing the world. You're changing yourself. You're moving yourself to one world in which that is happening. And I thought that's really, at least is my perspective. It's like, it's already happening. Suddenly it's like, wow, it's here.
Yeah, true.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah.
I think every time is fast.
I think there's one more incident I remember that I used to draw. I was driving a particular car for about 6 to 7 years. And then I said, okay, I want to change, okay, it's enough. I've driven a lot. Now let's have a change in life. So we changed, we got another car, enjoying it. It's been a year driving. But I found myself that whenever I was driving on the road, I would see my car passing by and I would just go, oh, that's my baby. And then I would feel love pouring out of my heart for that car. I'm like, what's going on? It's just a materialistic thing. But me and my daughter, whenever we were together, I'd say, oh, I missed it. I'm like, what's going on? Because sometimes you sound weird to your own self. So, but often, whenever I would see it on the road, I would just go, oh. And then one fine day, I found myself saying this, I'm going to have you back in my life someday. You're coming back someday. I know you are. And I would just drive and I'd say, see you soon, babe. It's just automatically, you're not even thinking and these words are coming out. My
Yeah.
next car was that. It's back again in my life.
Yeah,
I
definitely.
guess that was a manifestation happening, which I didn't even realize initially.
Yeah. Talking about
Right?
that,
Just by thinking about it.
yeah,
Yeah.
I used to think that it happened to me twice that I wanted to change my car. It's like I want to change my car. And then instead of doing something about it, it just went on like I'm waiting for it to change. I don't know how. And then I had a car crash both times. And I changed my car. So I had to change it. And I actually both times the insurance paid for the new one. And so I actually got a new car both times.
But
But
it was that bad. Both the times it was that bad that you had to change the entire. But you were
total,
fine?
yeah,
You were okay.
I was perfectly okay. In fact, the police said you have
God.
not, you were not in that car. And he's like, yes, I was. That the third time that I felt, oh, I want to change my car, I thought I'm gonna sell it. I don't want to have more car crashes. It's
No
like
more.
no more. So it's like I know I'm
I'm
gonna
gonna.
change my car, so I better sell it, and I sold it. But
Oh, thank
it's like
God.
yeah, and I've never had an accident anymore in my life. But it was like really the feeling that I wanted to change a car, and it was not like I was doing nothing about it, which is they're
It just
waiting for it
happened.
to happen. And of course, life was like, yeah, you're gonna change your car. You don't want to, you want it the bad way, the hard way, or the easy way. So you
Easy
choose.
way.
So yeah, it's like a realization of
Amazing.
something, recognizing that that's what's gonna happen. A new car is gonna happen. But the more you stay like holding to the back to the old version of you, the more shocking it is the change. But instead,
Ah,
when I open to like that new vision, it's like, yeah, I want a new car. So how can I do it and actually do something about it? Then it's a happier, happier road.
right?
But it's gonna happen anyway. So be
It's
careful with what you think because it's gonna happen anyway.
we just have to be very clear about what we want, what our desire is. Because my sister was trying to get a new car since quite some time, but she wasn't sure. Do I go for a car? Do I go for a driver with a car? Do I go for, or which do I go for? But the minute, and it was going on for months, but the minute she decided I want this particular car, oh my God, within no time, it was there. So I was telling her, oh, that means Pooja, we know we don't, we just have to be very clear. One doubt is there, it's just blocking probably, I don't know what happens. But once it becomes easier for manifestation. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's coherence. I think it's when you think and feel and do the same thing. When you're coherent, then it's so fast. But then we have these thoughts or actions that we do or things that we're feeling like guilt or I don't know,
Yeah.
lack of deserving it or whatever that
Yeah.
interferes. And it's like
Yeah.
suddenly
Yeah.
the emotions and everything is like all that energy field that is there. Like I think it's like my energy body is there, putting all the ingredients, making all the work, putting the bread in the oven, and then I'm like no, and opening the oven all the time is like, no, I don't deserve it. No, I don't know if I could do this other thing.
I have another example. When all right, most of you know I'm a sailor. I'll just say it again. We lost our first boat. We had a catastrophic accident. And in the middle of that accident, about 5 minutes after it happened, I'm trying to provision, pull water, food, all this stuff together. My partner is trying to get the boat off the obstruction that we hit. We're starting to take on water. And he comes down, and I was kind of in that mode where you're scared out of your wits. But I looked at him and I said, baby, we are going to live to tell this tale. And that was my manifestation in that crucial moment, because that's all I had to think of, something positive, that yes, we were going to make it out of here. We were in the middle of the ocean, and within 20 minutes, our boat was sunk and we were on our life raft, floating in the ocean, and we were rescued. When you have adversity, you have to, that's a great time to think of a really positive, strong thing of how you're coming out of that, what's going to be the positive outcome.
My God, what an experience that must have been.
Yeah, by the way, you can read about it in her book.
Yeah.
When it gets published.
Her upcoming book.
Another thing that I wanted to bring to this discussion was to bring your manifestation up at the highest level possible. After the accident, we had to go back on land, obviously, and we had no idea what we wanted to do. I mean, we had manifested the boat dream and it all came true. And then we were just stuck on land, and we didn't want to be there. We didn't know where to go. We had no home. We'd sold it before we left. And so what I did was, and this was at the point where we're just sleeping all day long. We have a lot of PTSD. We have no idea what we want, how we're going to move on, what our next path is going to be, where we're going to live. We didn't know anything. So I started, looking at manifesting again, and the concept of bringing it up to as high level as possible really hit home with me. So rather than trying to pick something specific about, oh, I want a house or here or there or whatever, my manifestation was our future will deliver wonderful new adventures. Our next path will be unveiled to us when the time is right. So that was the highest. And once I did that, I was like, okay, good. Now the universe is going to give us adventures, and it's going to take care of the path. We don't have to worry about what the path is yet. It's just going to present itself to us. And sure enough, that happened. We had like 3 amazing adventures. We went back on a boat and with friends who took us to all these islands that we were supposed to go to before we sank. And then we went to Europe to visit family and friends. And then we had another boat kind of fall into our lap. And the universe just kept us going, one adventure after another. And then it presented its path to us. So I think that's a good example of making your manifestations as high as possible. Because if you're real specific, the universe, if you're not specific, rather, the universe will give you more than you might imagine, right? If you're really specific, then, you're limiting what the answers could be.
Because we're limiting beings. And we are limited, we've got limited thinking, limiting brain. So our desire or what we ask for is again limited, But that's why you're right, Carol, they say just be open to receiving. Let the universe do it.
Yeah, I think it's just keeping the emotion there vibrating, and then let the universe give it to you the best way. It's just like, I want to feel like this, that I'm feeling already. So I'm feeling like this, and this is how I'm going to feel. It's not like I want to feel like this now. I am feeling like this, and this is how I'm going to stay because I'm deciding to be like this. And then life is just like giving you everything that will keep you in that track. It's like, yes, it's a yes to that vibration. So how to keep yourself in that, I think, is the key.
When you are working in a company, they always tell you if you want a promotion, you start acting as if you already are doing that job, or you don't even have to act. You start doing that job. right? And you start behaving like the position you want to attract or you want to be promoted. And that's when the promotion you're seeing, oh, she's already doing, here it is, right? I mean, that's a good example of like attracting like when it comes
Yeah.
to
Yes.
raising your energy levels for manifestation or liking.
Yeah, they say fake it until you make it. For me, it's not faking it. It's just like feel it until you make it.
Feel it until
Just
you
feel
make
it until you make it, and then it will happen. I think so.
it.
What if we leave you to like this food for thought and make comments on what we have already talked and give us already opinions on what the next topic you want it to be.
Oh, I also wanted to add that do share your manifestation experiences with us because we would love to know because we know life is got endless possibilities and I'm sure you must be experiencing a lot of things which we've never heard of or we've never experienced. So go ahead and share it with us. And if you've liked the podcast today, like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you for listening and see you in the next podcast.
Yes. Thank